We didn't end up doing that, but it was still a very enjoyable Christmas. Very memorable, with just spending time not only with my brother's family before the day before Christmas Eve, but also with Carla and her kids, inclusive of her oldest and his friend that had come over for Christmas Eve. And it was just a lot of fun. But we didn't get to have, you know, the fire, the hot cocoa, and all of that. So yesterday, New Year's Eve, was more along the lines of what I had wanted to experience for these winter holidays, which it was in the low 60s, maybe high 50s, and it was raining. And so I loved that. And we had started a fire in the fireplace, and it was just so cozy and awesome. Just really enjoyed ringing in the new year that way. So I made sure to have 12 grapes. And then we had sparkling cider. I mentioned that I had made prime rib, and Carla made this awesome mashed potatoes that went perfectly with the prime rib. We had a lot of leftover ingredients from Thanksgiving office lunch that we had done at my office, and I was able to take a lot of those ingredients home so that it didn't go to waste. And so I had made this savory cheese ball. I made one for the office, and I made one for home for Christmas. And we have not finished that cheese ball, the one at home, yet. Like, the one at the office, people were chipping away at it, and it was right before this weekend that we finally finished that cheese ball at the office. And that cheese ball was smaller than the one I had made for the one we had at home. And so the one we had at home for Christmas, we still had some of it. It was still good. I don't know why people are so scared of leftovers. Leftovers, if stored properly, can last a decent amount of time depending on what food it is. But that cheese ball, we still haven't finished it. But today's the day. Today will be the day. So not only do we have hot pot with the rents, but we have sweet tamales, the rest of that cheese ball to finish, and leftover mashed potatoes. And I think Carla's going to be making carne asada. So we're blessed with a lot of good foods. But like I said, I'm going to be more mindful about how much I'm putting into my body. So I'm going to track all of that on MyFitnessPal. And so hopefully the act of tracking it is going to allow for me to not overeat, because I have to actually like put it down on paper, what I plan on eating and stuff like that. And so that's going to, I think, deter me from overeating. Sorry, I'm taking a pause really quick because I forgot to get my nail sticks out. So if you're not new to this channel, you know that Tara Stoddard had taught this. She does this, and so I kind of copied her on this. I think I might need both. So these nail sticks, I put one of the strips on them just so I can save it to show like which ones I've used of the Color Street strips, as well as I do this with the Lily and Fox strips that I have too, but mostly the Color Street strips. So I like to save a stick of it, and then it also helps me see how this is. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like not quite opaque. It's kind of semi-sheer. So sometimes when a strip is like that, you can actually layer it over something else and it could alter the color just a little bit and have it look pretty. So you can make your own kind of combo. And so having these nail sticks helps me kind of like put them over each other to see what would that look like, you know. And so I create those. So that's what I'm doing there. And now that we're done with this, let's go ahead and heat seal this before we bust open. Less bitter, more glitter. And let's see here. Make sure I got them all, because sometimes I would think that I got them all, and then it's like I have to reopen them because I accidentally missed one or whatever. And so don't want that happening. Alright, so now that I've got them all in, kind of gotten the air out of there, I'm going to just heat seal that really quick. There we go. Alright, let's move on to the next. So, less bitter, more glitter. We're going to throw this on top of the Espresso Yourself. Alright, so here we go. And then for those that have seen other videos and have mentioned about the angle of the video, I apologize if my nails are not fully in view. I'm trying my best with the equipment that I do have right now. I think as I continue to kind of do my nails and grow this channel, I'll invest in more equipment, better equipment, so that I'm able to have a wider range as far as where my hands can be seen. So, but yeah, so let's show this really quick. This is Espresso Yourself before we put less bitter, more glitter over it. Alright, so let's do this. So these glitter dipped overlays are actually a little bit shorter than the normal strips. The reason for that, from what I've heard, is because for those that have shorter nails, they're trying to make it so that more of the glitter shows up on the nail. So they made the strips a teensy bit shorter. I really wish they wouldn't do that, because for those that have longer nails, then it, or for those of us that want to use the double strips, you know, one for each 2 fingers, we can't do that with these because they end up not being long enough for us to do that. And so it's kind of a bummer, but you know, that's my only gripe about this. But I don't know, anyone else go through that, like have that issue? And you know what, actually I'm gonna use this one because I'm pretty sure you're not gonna notice it too much if it doesn't hit the edge all the way on the pinky. So I'm gonna do that. Why not? But I know I can't use this for both pinkies. I'm gonna have to use one strip for the pinky and then another strip for the other pinky. So, but yeah. So just know that when you're buying them, that you're going to encounter that issue. And I hate sometimes that it rolls up a little bit. But we can adjust. So with these overlays, I try not to touch them because I don't want my fingerprints all over the nail strip before it gets laid down. But sometimes it's a little hard. So it takes a little bit of practice. But there we go. So less bitter, more glitter over Espresso Yourself. Let's clean that up a little bit. So for whoever's watching, are there any New Year's traditions or New Year's Eve traditions that you guys do with your family or your loved ones or just by yourself? I know that when we used to not have like streaming, when we had regular TV, watching the Rose Parade on New Year's Day in the morning was kind of a thing. But now with like different streaming platforms and stuff like that, I don't really end up doing that very much. So yeah. But there was one year before Panda Bear and I started dating. I think it was in 2011 or something. I took my mom to Pasadena to see the Rose Parade live. And I remember we were all bundled up. I had on a beanie and gloves and all that because it was kind of cold. It was a pretty cold day. And my mom and I got there like super early so that we can scope out a spot and be sure to, you know, have a good place to see the floats come by. And I have one photo memory that keeps popping up on my Facebook every now and then of us at that Rose Parade. And so it's really nice to see that memory every so often. But yeah, that was the one and only time that I've ever done that, because it is quite a hassle. For those of you that have never done it before, it is quite a hassle to get all the way over there to Pasadena, find parking, and then stand there in the cold at the crack of dawn, waiting for when the floats are going to come by. So it's worth doing at least once, but I personally probably will not likely do it very much again, unless, of course, if we're maybe perhaps planning to take Carla's kids when they're a little older and more at the age where they would be able to appreciate and not complain about being in the cold and all that. If, you know, if they're going to end up appreciating seeing the floats live, then maybe we'll go. But other than that, I don't plan on going there myself, because it is, like I said, a real big hassle. Not one that I care to do on my own. Unless it's going to benefit, you know, one of my loved ones that really, really wants to go. So I think if anything, they might have to say they want to do it before we even think about going to do that. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So, and I don't know if I already have a less bitter, more glitter stick. So let us find out really quick here. So, here's my little canister or tin or whatever container. Oh, nope. This one says raise your voice. So that one looks kind of less bitter. Oh, here we go. Less bitter, more glitter. So I'm actually not going to need this extra stick after all. I'll put that aside. So I probably could have done this just to see what it looked like before doing it on my nails. But I've already done that, so we're just going to keep going. But at least I know I don't need to make another stick. Okay, so back to putting on the nails. And I apologize in advance for how all over the place sometimes these videos can be. You know, whatever comes to mind. I don't edit. As you guys can see, I'm lazy. Like, I will not learn to edit. I'm not going to have an intro. I'm not going to have an outro. All of that. This channel is just, I mean, if you're watching this, great. I hope you don't mind that it's very amateur. It's amateur hour here as far as making videos. But it's mostly for me to just go back and watch these later and just remember what I was dealing with in life and remember the mani that I end up doing and for what reason did I do that mani for. And so the videos are mostly for me, is what I'm trying to say. But if you gain entertainment from it, awesome. Like, that's a plus. That's a bonus. So yeah, just know that, I'm not really making this as like a tutorial or anything like that. There are some videos where I actually have an intent to like try to like give some kind of tutorial or whatever it is. Those typically end up being a lot shorter than these little mani chats that, I do. But yeah, majority of the time, the only thing that is planned is the sets that I plan to use. And sometimes even then, when I have the planned sets to use, I don't have the planned, if it's like a mixed mani, I sometimes don't even have that all planned out yet. So you're organically seeing the whole process while it's happening. So oftentimes too, the videos get cut off. So then I have to share them as different parts. So if that is not your bag, I apologize. And there's plenty of other channels that you can feel free to go watch. But if you enjoy these, again, feel free to like and subscribe. Tell your friends if they're like you and like stuff like this. And if you want to support a single mom and her kids with one of her new business ventures that she's started, you can see in the description below the link to my sister-in-law Carla's Color Street website and make a purchase. And you can also follow me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, Wendy's Nail Fee Studio, where I post pictures and kind of like little antics about my manis. So if you'd like to join that, information's down below in the description. Oh, I forgot to mention yesterday. So yesterday, like, I used to go to a hairstylist before the pandemic, but then when the pandemic hit, she closed up shop, and I don't know if she opened up shop when things started opening up again, but I haven't gone back. And so my hair has gotten really long and unruly. And it's okay because Panda Bear actually likes my hair long, so that's not a problem. But for me, I hate like split ends, and I'm going to show you this. So I hate split ends. I don't have as many now that I'm showing you this here, but yesterday, I decided to cut my own hair, trim it, because there was a lot of split ends. And so it was driving me nuts. Whenever I combed my hair, I looked like Merida from Brave, without the bright red hair, of course. But like in texture wise, it was very unruly. And so I couldn't stand it anymore, and I just had to cut it. So I tied it up in a big ponytail. And I just went to town as far as trimming it, and it actually didn't turn out that bad. So it was actually my sister-in-law Carla who taught me how to do that, and I also kind of watched a YouTube video on how to do it, and so it's not that hard to do. And because I don't really have like a specific style that I'm going for, it's just I want to keep my length like a bit long. I was able to just kind of trim it. Now, of course, you have to have the right scissors for hair. And luckily, my mom does have those. And so, I was able to just trim my hair. But I wanted to make sure to do that before the new year. And so, now the next thing, and I promised myself I will never, ever, ever, ever do at-home dye by myself again. Because the last time I tried doing that, and believe you me, I have been doing at-home dyes for a while, but the last time I tried to do that, the brand of hair dye that I'm used to buying, their formula, or however they package it and stuff like that, had changed. And that should have already been a red flag to me, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. And so I had dyed my hair, and I was all excited because I was going to see my best friend, Lynn, who, she and I have known each other since 3rd grade. I was going to see her that day. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to dye my hair, going to leave it down because I'm pretty sure we're going to take photos because we haven't seen each other since, you know, before the pandemic and all of that. Long story short, the hair dye didn't come out quite like it should have. And I was, oh my God, like I almost wanted to cancel. But I knew I wasn't going to do that because I hadn't seen her in forever. And she lives up in Northern California and I live in Southern California. So it's not often that she comes down to Southern California. And this was the first time she's been down in Southern California for a long while because of the pandemic and all that. And so I had to go see her. I wanted to go see her. So I had to put my hair up in a bun and pray that she wasn't going to notice that my hair was ruined. But after our visit, my sister-in-law Carla actually helped me fix the dye. So we had to buy 2 boxes of new dye. I bought what she recommended, and it actually came out really nice. So right now my hair is still the color that she had dyed it, but because some time has passed, it's growing out a little bit and it's also fading. So I'm going to need her help again when she and I both have some time so that she can dye my hair again, because I do want it to have a better color, because like I said, it's fading right now, and it's also growing out at the roots. So I'm probably, though, going to wait until closer to, so one of my cousins, one of her sons is getting married in March. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to wait until closer to that date so that Carla can do my hair, so then it looks more fresh. So yeah, the wedding is in March, so maybe like late February. I'll see if Carla and I have time so that she can do that. So right before the new year, on Tuesday of this week actually, Panda Bear and I were, well, out of the blue, he asked me which movie I liked more. Because I had seen Top Gun Maverick and Avatar, The Way of Water. And I was like, I don't know. I like them both. They're both different. But he was like, you have to pick one. And so I'm like, if I have to pick one, I would end up picking Avatar, The Way of Water, because it's so epic. But I really, really do love Top Gun Maverick. Like, so much so that I had seen Top Gun Maverick twice in the theaters with Panda Bear, and Panda Bear had actually seen it 3 times because he liked it so much he took my dad to go see it too, and my dad actually enjoyed it. My dad doesn't really watch movies in theaters because he complains about the price and all that stuff, but he actually enjoyed it too. So that's how good Top Gun Maverick was. But Avatar, The Way of Water, so Panda Bear was like, oh, you know what I want to do is I want to do kind of like an Oscar tour. So for the Oscar nominated movies, we were going to go watch 3 of them this week. And so that was Tuesday night. So Tuesday night he said that, and I'm like, okay, I'm down. You know, after work, we can totally go see a movie. So it was date night 3 nights in a row. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which was totally awesome because we hadn't had date night in a long while. Before the pandemic, Panda Bear and I would go on date night like once a week. And then when the pandemic hit, we stopped. And then also when Carla and her kids came to the States, we didn't pick back up date night because now we have more mouths that we're taking care of. And so we kind of put date night aside. But when Panda Bear was like, oh yeah, we're going to do date night. We're going to watch 3 movies in a row. So we did that. So the first night, Wednesday night, hump day, we went to eat sushi, which I was so happy about because I love sushi, but oh my god, sushi is so expensive. But when you get good sushi, it's worth it. So we went to this local place that I had never eaten at, but it's been here in my hometown since the 80s. And we had like the best sushi. Like the best. I got to have toro, which is salmon belly, and also had some mackerel, both the Spanish mackerel and the regular mackerel. And we had all these other sushis that were just delicious. And then we went to go watch The Whale. Let me tell you, Panda Bear got us ices and a large popcorn. And while we were watching that movie, like, I didn't even finish my popcorn. I kind of lost my appetite. But that goes to tell you that Brendan Fraser did an excellent job at making me believe that he was that size. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you guys, but if you're planning to go watch it, be surprised at how ginormous they made him look. Like, it looked real to me. Like, I was like, oh my god, did he really gain all that weight just to do the role? Like, I almost believed that he would have done that. So, yeah, I was just like, I felt uncomfortable because I was shoveling popcorn into my face after already having had sushi for dinner. So it made my stomach turn a little bit. But it was a really good movie. I'll tell you that much. I enjoyed it. So that was hump day. And then Thursday, we went to the Grove and we had some nice gator gumbo, shrimp po' boy, soft crab po' boy, and we went to Dylan's Candy Bar and got to pick out some candies and stuff like that that we ended up eating while watching Avatar: The Way of Water. So Panda Bear got to see Avatar: The Way of Water for the first time, and I got to see it for the second time because I had seen it with his sister Carla right before Christmas. That was one of her Christmas gifts. And she had not actually been in the theaters forever, and she's never done IMAX 3D before. So for her to be able to see that movie in that fashion was epic for her. And I had such a great time when she and I went to go see it. And when I saw it for the second time, I had an amazing time with Panda Bear too. So very excited about the next part of Avatar coming out. Carla had mentioned that she said that I think it's coming out in July on streaming on Disney Plus, but we hope that it's going to be in the theaters, because she and I totally want to see it in the theaters. It's way more worth it because of how immersed you feel when you're watching it in the theaters. Like you're in a whole new world, like a whole nother world. And James Cameron really does an amazing job of doing that for you. For me, at least. So I totally want to see that in the theaters. But yeah, Carla actually loves Avatar so much that when we were watching Avatar, the first one before we were going to see the second one in the theaters, she was able to recite word for word what was happening next. And I was like, oh my god. Like, I had seen Avatar, the first one, in the theaters twice because I loved it that much, but I couldn't recite the movie word for word, so I was impressed. So anyways, that was Thursday date night. And then Friday date night, we didn't go out to eat because my mom surprised us with making sweet and sour pork. So on Christmas Day, we had gone to eat at this Chinese restaurant that my dad had recommended. And, you know, the majority of the food was really good, except for the sweet and sour pork. It was, as Panda Bear had said, rancid. Like, he took a bite and he refused to eat, like, any more of it. And because I felt guilty that I had chosen that order, I helped finish that dish, because in my household, we do not waste food. So even if as long as it's not poisonous, we're going to finish it. Right. And so even my mom was like, oh, like the sweet and sour pork, something's off. Like something's not right. So she surprised us on Friday by making sweet and sour pork at home. And let me tell you, it wasn't freshly made, because by the time we got home from the office, she had already like made most of it. But it was still way tastier than what we had at that restaurant. And I was very happy, because growing up, like, I was not appreciative of my mom's cooking, but now that I'm older and wiser, and my palate is much more elevated, I can totally appreciate the work and effort my mom puts into her dishes, and can taste the difference in what she makes versus what some of the restaurants make. And so her sweet and sour pork, restaurant quality. So good. So we had that, Panda Bear and I, before going to see our last movie, the third movie, The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans might be the Oscar winner here, at least from what we've seen so far. Panda Bear and I really enjoyed The Fabelmans a lot. So yeah. I think the Oscars are not going to be airing until the middle of March this year, which is way later than I normally remember it. I always thought it was like February. So, but yeah, I think it's mid-March this year. So planning to have a Oscar watching party, a party of 2, maybe a party of 3 if Carla wants to join in, but definitely a party of 2, Panda Bear and I. And gonna watch the Oscars and see who wins. There are some movies that are streaming right now that are Oscar worthy, Oscar nominated, and so it's likely that Panda Bear and I will spend tomorrow, a nice day off in observance of the New Year's Day, Monday, watching any of the streaming movies that are available to us based on the paid streaming platforms we currently have at our disposal. So that is probably likely what's going to happen tomorrow. But of course, get a workout in. After I finish this video off and it's uploading, I'm going to be lifting some weights here. And yeah, then get the day started with a cup of coffee and getting ready to spend New Year's lunch with my parents, eating hot pot, and then heading on over to Carla's for a nice dinner that includes sweet tamales. Alright, you guys, so that was the last nail, and here it is. So obviously my cuticles are really dry, so I'm gonna let this cure for a bit and then clean up some of the edges and stuff like that, clean up my cuticles, and then I will post a nailfie in my Wendy's Nailfie Studio Facebook group. So if you want to see that, feel free to join that group. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Hope you have a happy new year and an awesome 2023. Until next time, peace.